Do-rag wisdom, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Y2K 20.08.27, just 68 days out from our election. Fake Senate impeachment trial, no vindication, no adjudication, no exoneration, repeat, throw him in jail. I want to remind everybody, and this is not a complaint or anything like that since the pandemic, I've been on a weird schedule and can't broadcast when I want to as before because my poor wife now has to work from home, which many people can't, so I'm glad she can. The music in the background is by Elmer Bernstein. You know, he also wrote The Great Escape and To Kill a Mockingbird. This is his score for The Man with the Golden Arm. I'm still sorry, but I despise the people who now support Trump, because those who still do know exactly the kind of fiend that he is. They attack people like Sally Yates with questions like, do you despise President Trump? As if by the act of despising this fiend, we are breaking a law. At the same time, their hatred is always on full display, uncut and uncensored, as it has been so far for the 3 days of a 4-day fascist GOP convention festival. And as it has been since long before Trump was flushed from a fecal-stained toilet bowl into our beleaguered lives. One, the fascist fiends kept accusing the Democrats of being radical, communist, socialists. I happen to be a democratic socialist. They kept using the word Democrat, quote unquote, as if it were a slur. It would be the same thing if I took the word Republican and shortened it to Republic and called them the Republic Party, the same way that they call their opponents the Democrat instead of Democratic Party. If there was anything I learned from the first 3 days of this so-called convention, is that these fiends despise the Democratic Party, progressivism, democratic socialism, and liberals. At 70 years of age, folks, I know exactly what hatred looks like, and it looks like an idiot with a moronic hairstyle and orange skin, followed by frothing at the mouth mutts who want nothing better than to go back to the days of Jim Crow, lynching, and back alley abortions. And if the Republicans have the right to tell lies and slanders about Democrats, and if they have the right to show their hatred, so do I. The last thing I want to see is those kinds of fascist fiends running our country. I do not share their values, nor do I share their screwed up worldview. I realize that once President Hiccup is flushed down the toilet of history, his followers will still be here, ready and willing to spill blood in a second civil war to secure their place of power in our lives forever, over my dead effing democratic socialist body. If they were tolerant of me, I would be tolerant of them, because we have one planet and we have to live together whether we like it or not. 2. President Hiccup and Secretary of State Mike Pompeo went way over the line when they practiced politics from the White House. From Hurricane Melania, who destroyed the Rose Garden, and from the roof of the King David Hotel in Jerusalem. When you are running for office, according to the Hatch Act, you cannot use the White House as a backdrop. And when you are Secretary of State, you are representative of the USA, not your political party or the supporter of a particular president. Pompeo's face did not belong in this convention. Hiccup Trump and his minions believe that they are royalty. They believe that the White House belongs to them, and that all the mechanisms of government and all the people that work therein are serving only them, and not the people of our country. Pompeo is the Secretary of Trump's state, not the United States. Attorney General Jail Barr is Trump's lawyer, not the American people's lawyer. If President Obama had used the White House for a backdrop during his run for a second term, the Republicans would have never stood for it. 3. President Hiccup hates immigrants of color. So it was absolutely disgusting that he used new immigrants of color as props in a citizenship ceremony that wasn't about them but about him. 4. Melania Hiccup kept talking about her be best, which was supposed to be about stopping cyber bullying, with the emphasis on the word bully. There was no mention of this in her speech, but instead she went on to talk about how humane and caring her husband is about those in need and about those on drugs. She never mentions the fact that her humane husband separated migrant children from their parents and locked all of them separately in cages. This ditz doesn't even reflect on the long-range damage that was done because of this policy. The only truth I saw was that this administration hates trees. I happen to love trees, and I hug them. Yes, literally hug them. Melania Hiccup cut down the crabapple trees that Jackie Kennedy installed. Just like that! There is absolutely no respect for anything in Hiccup world. No respect for tradition, and no respect for the natural beauty of our environment. And this Melanoma Melania robot has promised more changes to the White House if her husband is reelected, so she could do more untold damage. After all, our house belongs to them. Melania Hiccup also spoke about her experiences becoming a new citizen. Had she been born of color, she'd still be in Slovenia, where she should go back to. 5. Don Hiccup Jr. thinks that he is going to run for president one day. I hope he is president of a toxic waste dump where he has to work without protective equipment. Mike Pompeo wants to run as well. Goddess help us. And so does Pence. And now, number 6, a word about the Navajo Indian Trump supporter. Every ethnic group has had its traitors, folks. There were Jews that supported Hitler, people of my tribe. Look at Stephen Miller, for example. There were black people who sold other black people into slavery. There were Irish that spied for the British. People have the right to support anyone that they wish. But if the person they support is actively against them and against the tribe they belong to, what else can I call them but freaking traitors to their own people? Jared Kushner! President Hiccup is working overtime to destroy indigenous lands. So anyone who supports the fiend also supports all of his agenda. Shame on this person who claims to be the leader of the Navajos for making a mockery of his people. Remember too that Hiccup is a big fan of Andrew Jackson, Indian killer. 7. The convention was promoted to be upbeat. It is not. It is a graphic image of what we are in for if we allow hiccup another term. As of this writing, over 180,000 people are dead in our country because of CV-19. More black people have been abused by police. Jacob Blake may never walk again. And who are the civilians with guns in Kenosha, Wisconsin? One of them, a long gun-toting, Trump-supporting teenager, murdered 2, injured another in the sight of police. As Nicole Wallace said, this is not Biden country. This is Donald Trump hiccup country, where militant white supremacists can go out and murder whoever they wish. Like the people in Pittsburgh, the synagogue in Pittsburgh, the massacre there. This is Donald hiccup Trump's country now. And we have to take it back! The creep who leaves our country is setting an example for all the scum that follow him. If you are with hiccup, you can brandish firearms, grab women by their genitals, and wish that one day lynching can return. I think it's already returned. They always laud hiccup as a rule breaker for the common man. But that is a goddess damned lie. Our country, folks, survives by our constitutional rule of law. And that is precisely what Trump hiccup wants to break. Give him another term, and he will finish Putin's assignment to decimate our country and our way of life forever. There are at least 35% of registered voters who fanatically support hiccup Trump. That is between 65 and 75 million guaranteed voters for the fiend, and it could even be more. I'm being conservative in my estimate. And as you know, Nazi Trump is messing with our constitutionally legal post office to suppress our vote. He is a mother effer. I will once again be viewing the monster show called the GOP convention tonight. In fact, it's on now. And I expect the same and worse. But I am not going to view Hiccup's speech because I despise him. I despise that shithead. I've had enough of his hatred, enough of his lies, and enough of his goddess damn treason. And most of us will remember him as the asshole and fascist traitor, Nazi, racist that he is. Please make sure that you plan your vote in advance this year, because your life and the life of our country